CMMS Radio talks about all things CMMS, computerized maintenance management software, focused on maintenance management. It's the people, the process, and the culture that make your CMMS journey a success. We've got another episode here with George Williams. He's the CEO of ReliabilityX. He's getting ready for a presentation at the Streamline Asset Management User Conference in Grenville, South Carolina. Let's jump into it right now.
My presentation, oddly enough, is about leadership, culture, and utilization, how those things are linked.
Something I always like to ask about. How do you get the leaders to let you buy what you need or fix your program, get your people and process all dialed in, and then how do you actually utilize that EAM or CMMS? You know I'm kind of partial to CMMSs.
Yeah.
What's that all about? What can you give us a little flavor of what you're going to present today?
Yeah, we're gonna discuss utilization and how critical it is for your success, and we're going to discuss how leadership and culture affect the utilization of the system. I'll give you a simple example. Sometimes people will say, "I want you to put a comment on every work order," and they don't really educate anyone as to why they want a comment. They just require it across the board because that's the only way to get the shop floor to do it, right? You are required to do it. But if no one is evaluating the comments, if they're not doing anything with the information, if the comment has come back 27 times, this PM's inaccurate, but no one has done anything with it, is the shop floor wrong for not wanting to do it?
No.
So we're going to explore some of those aspects and talk about the behaviors that are expected from a utilization perspective and how to increase the utilization from the shop floor through leadership and culture.
And does that really circle around, I'm thinking more listening and understanding what helps them buy in, or kind of, well, you already said it. I mean, why would I do this if you're not really telling me why? I got to figure it out myself. They don't even want to bother with the technology anyway because it gets in the way of all the great work that they want to do. Fair enough?
That's right. Oh, fair enough. So, and that's the biggest thing, right? So if you're going to ask someone to do something outside of just go get it done, you damn well better explain the reason and demonstrate the value. If you're not demonstrating the value, you're wasting their time. And the more you do not demonstrate the value, the more you are negatively impacting culture and reducing utilization because they're just not going to use it because you're not going to do anything with it anyway.
Yeah, I was wondering about something. So let's say you're getting some good utilization. Do you ever find that teams start to incorporate a habit of looking at their own work in retrospect so that they can start to then reinforce that concept of, oh man, now I don't have to remember what I did, I can go look, or I forgot how this really went down, I can go look. Is that a big factor in continuing the utilization?
It can be, but it requires experiences to create behaviors. So if someone sits down with them and says, let me show you how you can look at the history and see what was done here and what parts were used and what issues we had and what the resolutions were, then they gain an experience, a positive experience that can in the future change the behavior where they, instead of trying to remember something, they can go look in the system. I don't think you'll get so much of that if people don't take the initiative to give people the experience.
Yeah, and it also, now they see it as a valuable tool for them.
Which is what it's supposed to be.
Which you've already now connected to the business, so then we get going. I always talk about this one. How about when they do that and then the people that ask them to do it in the first place start asking them questions that they've already answered in the system.
Right, so they didn't even look to see what came back or what information happened or anything like that. That is a frustration point. However, it's still an experience, but it's going to drive the wrong behavior, not the right behavior. So now their experience has been, well, they're asking me to get into the system, but they're not even going in and looking around. So now I have a negative experience and a negative behavioral outcome, which is I am less likely to be as accurate as they're asking me for because they're not going to look anyway.
Is there something that maintenance people, the maintenance team and the operators need to know right now from you that actually they can get bought in on how their utilization creates more value in their existence within the organization? Because sometimes that's another way that they can not just add value to the organization and what we're doing, but also take a little more pride in what they're doing. And hey, this makes me look good. This is going to help me maybe on my next review.
Yeah, I mean, and I have examples of that, right? And the easiest example of that is when people are asked to put all their time in the system.
Mm-hmm.
And without any explanation from management or leadership, you've got to document all your time. Well, initially the response to that is, they want to track everything I'm doing, right? Which is a natural response because no one has explained to you why. The reason for something like that is because if let's say you have 40% of your labor accounted for in the system, how can you be confident in any decision you make with that system that any of the costs are accurate?
Right, you can't.
You can't. You've got 40% accuracy in the system. How can you make decisions with it? It's impossible. So you've got to explain those things to people, and they have to fully understand it. And at the shop floor level, let's say you're the maintenance manager and you think you need 2 more electricians. Well, if you're not accounting for your time in the system, how accurate can I be that I can't support the growing backlog? So if I'm leadership and I say, okay, is your backlog going up or down, and are you accounting for all your time, meaning essentially are you getting as much work done as you can with the labor you have? Well, if I can't prove any of that, it's just my opinion that I need more people. So the system can help you, justify improvements.
So for me, that was always a common thing, because the idea that I'm being watched and tracked, it's got nothing to do with that, really. I mean, there might be a little bit of it, but it's for those justifications, making a case, hey, I've got too much work. And now someone in leadership can say, okay, I hear you. Can you show me? That's exactly what it is. It's that simple. And that's a really good way to get everyone turning the corner. Like, the concept that if it wasn't written down, it didn't happen. But if you're going to write it down, be accurate. You don't have to write a novel, but you can't go, this work order's done. Right. Yep, I did it. Everything's okay. It's like, good, we like that, but we want contextual, valuable, accurate data. Is there a strategy around that you've taught people on, hey, George, how can I get stuff in there but do it quickly so I'm not bogged down? What do you do about that?
In the case of, say, Hexagon, you use closing codes. In the case of other systems, they may call them damage codes or failure codes or whatever the case may be, but it gives you an opportunity to use a drop-down list to get a rough idea of what the fault was, what the component failure was, and what did you do about it, without having it have to be interpreted by somebody based on what you typed in the sentence.
So this is, I had Tammy on earlier, and we were talking about standardization.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are like, well, I want to add a little bit to it, but isn't it true that you could add a little extra sentence or two?
So yes, in comments, absolutely, if you need to go into a little bit more detail, but I can't, it's really hard to do data analysis on comments, right? So in addition to that, you want to have some level of standardization so that it's quick and easy at the technical level, especially if you're on a small device, right?
Yep.
Typing a sentence is a lot harder than making a drop-down selection.
I agree.
Plus, it gives you the ability to analyze that data and see some trends or spot some things that could be an opportunity for improvement.
And then when they see that, they could dive in deeper and go, I want to see the comments on this one that happened last Thursday.
1,000%.
Yeah, those are the things that now we can do that work now that it's recorded, and that's the advantage to everyone. Well, I don't want you to give away all the secrets of what your presentation is going to be, and I think it's going to be recorded.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty certain that Streamline is recording all of the sessions, and then at some point in the future, they'll have them available at their website.
Yeah, they're just not going to record mine. They're too afraid. I want to give you some time back so you can go get ready.
That
George,
sounds like a plan.
Thanks for another update from Streamline Asset Management User Conference in Greenville, South Carolina.
Did you find this episode helpful? Please send us some feedback, suggest a topic, or ask a question. Reach out to CMMS Radio if you need a co-pilot on your CMMS project. Visit CMMSradio.com and use the What's on Your Mind link. Thank you for tuning in to CMMS Radio, your resource for all things CMMS from selection to implementation to help you make better choices, learn from industry experts, and have a successful CMMS journey.